Now, I've been saying for months that this is up there with one of the craziest things I've ever seen in sports. Now I'm wondering if the national college football champion Indiana Hoosiers are in fact, the single craziest thing that I've ever seen, period. Like, never mind the miracle on ice. Forget about the moon landing. The 16-0 Indiana Hoosiers, that football team, is the new most impressive thing that humans have ever accomplished. I'll stand by that. The first 16-0 season in college football in 132 years. From what was, until this year, the losingest program in the history of that sport. However, thanks to not losing a single game this year, Indiana has now been passed by Northwestern, and they're no longer the biggest losers in college football history. And I don't think anybody's ever going to use that term for them ever again. Sure as hell not as long as Kurt Cignetti is in control. Not on his watch. Or should I say Kurt Cignetti, the icon who sat down at his intro presser and said, I win. I've always won. Wherever I've gone. Google me.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
I win. Google me. It is pretty simple. And then he went on to do nothing but win. Win.
Google me.
So I know his message is that anything is possible, and he said it over and over again last night, and that he was sending a message to society that with hard work and perseverance and the right people and the right preparation and the right leadership, that anything is possible. And believe me, you know I love that message. But as much as I appreciate that message and love that message, I'm not sure that's actually true. Because I don't think there's another coach in the world that could do what Sig, the serial killer, just pulled off. I mean, nobody. Not Kirby Smart. Not my dude, Dan Lanning. Not my dude, Marcus Freeman. None of them. Hell, not even the guy that Sig used to work for, Nick Saban. And one of the most impressive things about last night's performance is it was far from Indiana's most impressive performance. They started with some nerves. They made some uncharacteristic mistakes. They had a very, very tough time blocking Miami, especially their incredible edge rushers. It just was not a perfectly played Indiana game. But they didn't need a perfect game to beat Miami last night. They just made the plays they had to make when they had to make them. And Miami didn't do that. Sig, the serial killer, said it himself after the game. They just made one more play. Oh, and by the way, the reason I keep referring to him as the, quote, serial killer is I saw this great column recently asking why no Power 4 program other than Indiana was willing to give him a shot. And one anonymous AD said something along the lines of, well, you sit with the guy and he kind of comes off like a serial killer. It's an incredible line. An incredible line. Just as I'm sure that you and about 100 others wish you had the sack to have pulled the trigger on that, quote, serial killer. Now back to execution. Not serial killer execution. Like nobody but IU was willing to take a chance on this guy. It was only the best hire in the history of hires. The best hire ever. So back to execution. Big play, big stage execution. No play was bigger than the ionic 4th and 5 diving, violent tutty from Fernando Mendoza, a.k.a. Fernando Mendoza, who essentially had another Heisman moment in the Natty and also created the new official poster for the state of Indiana with this.
8. He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first and goal. Diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! That's why he won the Heisman Trophy.
I mean, this dude, a play for the ages. Not satisfied with just getting that first down, but laying out, putting himself out there. Finishing Incredible toughness, incredible execution from the world's greatest nerd, who turns out to be the world's toughest nerd as well. I mean, that was not Fernando's best night ever, but that was his best play ever. This long after that dude was already spitting up blood in the first quarter, but he never relented, never hesitated, never blinked all night long. Just kept absorbing punishment and continued to protect the ball and control that game. He is the world's greatest nerd. He is the world's most talented nerd. He is the world's toughest nerd. And he has completely redefined nerddom for all nerds everywhere. It's never been cooler or hipper to be a nerd. But I've also got to give my man Sig the credit, all the credit for that call. Dude was going to kick it. Had the field goal team out there. Then thought, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Pulls him off the field and then has the straight brass set to pull that unit and send Fernando back out there. On 4th and 5, he put the ball in his best player's hands, and he trusted that dude. And, of course, that dude came through, like he always does. And, again, it was not his best game ever. He got bloodied. He got bruised. He had no time in the pocket, and as a result, Indiana really could not push the ball down the field. But it did not stop this guy. Nothing was going to stop the nerd and the serial killer from achieving their collective goal. As unimaginable and as unfathomable as that goal was to the rest of us, which is why I'm so happy. I'm so happy the so-called nerd finally broke loose, finally cut loose, and let off a nationally televised F-bomb. Let it fly right after the game.
What you're feeling right now.
I first want to give all the glory to God. And I mean, there's no better group of guys I want to do it with. It's the most special moment of my life. It's such a great group of guys. I love you guys. Great job. Let's go!
So awesome. It's so awesome. It's like that dude just could not hold it in. Could not hold it in anymore. Like the classiest dude ever. But even he was tempted to slip one F-bomb in there. My dude earned that F-bomb. Even when dude F-bombs, he does it with complete humility and class. I've never seen a classier, more humble F-bomb than that one. Speaking of which, at least the U also lost with similar class and dignity. Sure they didn't. Yo, Carson Beck, maybe you want to shake hands with one of the most iconic championship teams of all time? I mean, you know the scouts were out there watching you last night, right, dude? Not a good night for Beck. Not a good night for him. He didn't exactly make himself all that money that they're paying him last night, that's for sure. He didn't exactly reward Miami for throwing all that cash at him, that's for sure. All that jack just for that dude to do this with the Natty hanging in the balance.
Of Ole Miss.
C.J. Daniels is the veteran presence. He's on the right side, but D'Angelo Pons is across from him. Brown is the back. Beck steps up, delivers downfield, intercepted! Jamari Sharp makes the pick that will clinch Indiana's first national championship.
Actually, what they paid for, all that money to Beck, was for a touchdown on that drive, not a game-ending pick. And unfortunately for Beck, that's how all 3 Miami losses ended this season, with a Beck INT on Miami's final drive. Does not exactly scream NFL QB, does it? But hey, clones, at least Ray Lewis didn't kill anybody last night, right? So Miami's got that going for him. Just messing with you, Miami. Obviously.
It's 2 for me.
Not even 1 for him. Bottom line, an incredible year for the Canes. An incredible season for the Hurricanes. Not an incredible ending, but an incredible season for them. The program very clearly is back to national relevance and prominence. It's clearly the state of Florida's powerhouse program once again, and they played Indiana a hell of a lot tougher than anybody else in college football in the playoff did. There's NFL talent all over that team. That program is in great shape. They just came up 1 drive short last night. And considering the historic buzzsaw that they were up against, I was actually impressed with the way they showed last night, the Canes. Clearly, since I did not win my bet. Clearly, since I felt good about that bet when I made it, which was right after the semifinals. Like, the only imperfect thing about the Hoosiers' perfect season is that they didn't cover last night. So I guess credit to the big head and everybody else who hit the Canes. Personally, I've got zero regrets over betting on Sig, the so-called serial killer, and Fernando, the so-called super nerd, and this Indiana team, because I've never seen another team or another story or another turnaround or another miracle like this one before. And for everybody looking for the next Coach Sig and the next Indiana, yeah, I don't think you're going to find it, because I don't think he or they exist.
Pretty simple. I win. Google me.
It's true. He does. He does. I just don't think. You know, you could talk all you want about this changing era, and this could have been done at some other time, not before the NIL portal era. I get it. I'm not going to argue that point, but I am going to argue this. Nobody else could have done what that guy just did, even in this era. So for everybody looking for the next, quote, Coach Sig, I don't think there is one. Nor do I think that people can point to that and say, damn, that was the worst program ever. If they can do it, we can. I don't think you can unless you have that guy presiding over your program. Because that guy's one of one. That guy's the best in the business right now. Amazing story.